Welcome back to another unexciting episode of Chasing Tone Podcast with my buddy Blake from his Tone Mob podcast, my cohort and co-host and friend and tonal connoisseur of sorts.
Oh, yes, I like that. That was good. Tonal connoisseur.
How have you been, my friend?
Oh, this is an especially good. This is an especially good week for me.
Go on.
As far as tone is concerned,
you have my attention. Keep going.
I finally got my mitts on the custom guitar that I was having made for me by Paul Roney of Roney Guitars and the Luthierist podcast, who we've plugged before.
You said Paul Roney?
Yes.
You know what? I love his food, macaroni. Love it.
No, we already did this joke once before.
I've slept since then.
I got a Roney Oceana Imperial, which is his semi-hollow. It's mostly hollow, but it's still technically a semi-hollow.
Well, I mean, being semi-hollow, semi-hollow, one would probably assume that it's not completely hollow nor completely solid.
Right.
Thereby designating the name semi, which means partial in some other language, I'm sure.
Right, exactly. You nailed it. You nailed
it.
Were you a language major?
I did. I majored in language. That was actually my degree. Not any certain language, just language.
Just like bad language.
Yeah, cursing, but mostly cursing.
But anyway, this guitar is it's so good. It's so good, Brian. I can't even tell you. It's a slightly lighter shade of Lake Placid blue. It's a maple top and a mahogany back and neck, and it is just so good. It's got a mastery.
Now, is it better than your junior?
Is it better than my junior?
Yes,
I can say it is a much nicer guitar. If that makes sense, like it's a much higher end guitar than the junior.
So you can't. I mean, that's like saying is one kid better than the other kid? Yes, you can't really say that, but it's equally on par. Then is what you're saying.
Exactly. It's definitely equally on par. I don't have the emotional connection to it that I do the junior, or the family connection. So there's that aspect that would still put the junior at number one, kind of no matter what happens, pretty much.
Right. I can understand that.
So yeah, there's that, but it is definitely my number two, and I'll probably play it more because with the junior, I'm a little bit hesitant to take it out places. I don't want something bad to happen to it. It would make me like an emotional wreck. Whereas this, I'd be like, oh, something bad happened to it. I have to send it down to Paul and have him fix it. Like it'll be okay. But it is beautiful, and it's got a mastery bridge and vibrato, or tremolo, whatever you want to call it. But it's technically not a tremolo. Anyway,
it's a Bigsby. It's a Bigsby.
If a Bigsby looked kind of like a Jazzmaster setup, but they do. But sure, yeah, they're all Bigsbys, right? Isn't that or
sure?
Floyd
Everything's
Rose's?
A Bigsby
Or Floyd Rose. No. Kaler?
Kaler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then it's got some Roadhouse pickups, or it's a local winder here in Portland, and he kind of specializes in the Supro style pickups. So
I was dated once to a whiner. It wasn't any fun.
To a whiner or a miner?
No, a whiner. Someone who windle. Oh, you said winder.
Yeah, winder.
Oh, I thought you said he's a whiner. I was like, yeah, I was dating. Yeah.
Like, you're really reaching. You're really reaching on these ones, Reel it back in.
I'm eventually going to find something that's funny. Just give me a minute. Give me a minute.
That's what Dane Cook said. He's eventually going to find something that's funny. But anyway, I'll just stop talking about it because you just keep trying to make jokes, and I'm trying to talk about how wonderful my new purchase is and how I can't wait to go home and play it, and I'm going to post it all over the internet.
See, whilst you were doing that, I've been in Destin, Florida, for the past couple of days, and for those who've been following my Snapchat, you have been following right along. And well, I mean, I guess if you're following my Snapchat, you would be following right along. So that doesn't really make sense for me to point that out. Anyways, so I was in Destin, Florida, with a bunch of kids, which was great family time. But you ever like just been ready to go home, kind of like you don't want it to end, but you're also like, man, I've done nothing but like I've done nothing for like 4 days. Maybe it's just me. Like I don't do nothing very well. You know, like I didn't have a guitar to play, and you know what I mean. Like there was this like we did nothing except sit on the beach and go to the pool, and we did go parasailing, rented jet skis. So we did like all the touristy stuff. What you do if you don't live near a beach, right? You do all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So
as long as there's no sharks in the water.
No. There's no. I mean, they don't bother you. All you got to do is if they come close to you, all you got to do is punch them in the nose and they go away.
I don't believe you for 1 second. Lying to me.
It happens all the time, dude. Yeah, just they come up to you and you just punch them in the nose. Or if you're like on a paddleboard or something, which we rode a lot of paddleboards, just hit them on the nose with the oar. They go away. They don't bother you.
Yeah, sure. We're not talking about the high school bully here. We're talking about a man-eating destruction machine. We're not talking about Gordo who wants to take your lunch money.
Yeah, they don't really mess with you much. No, they don't mess with you.
I'm gonna stay right here. I'm good.
No, I love the beach, man. So, anyways, so I did that, and by the last day, I mean, I didn't want to go. So it's beautiful, but I was just like, man, because I was like, like listening to my Spotify or whatever. We did go out to a restaurant, and there's a band playing. I'm like, man, God, I really want to get up and play. Wonder how awkward that would be if I was like, hey, can you like stop playing and let me play?
I mean, maybe you could have talked them into it. What kind of pedals were they running? My name's on those.
I have actually walked up to guys before in bars and been like, hey, you're using one of my pedals. And most of the time they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, that blue one, I made that pedal, or I designed that pedal. That's my company. They're like, that's weird. Yeah, they're like, what? So, you're like Wampler. You're the Wampler guy. And I'm like,
you are.
Something like that.
Yeah. Anyway,
but no, I mean, this particular band actually, their use. I when I do watch bands, I always watch like what they do and what they struggle with and that sort of thing. And I came up with an excellent idea for a new series of effects.
Okay.
Based on what they were doing, and I'm not going to say a word about it.
What? Come on.
Nope, I can't do that. No. Last time I did that, somebody else came out with my product before me. Nope,
Who?
not doing it. I'm not saying words. Not doing it.
Well, you can tell me later. You'll tell me eventually. Of course, I don't tell anybody, so my lips are sealed.
Anyways, so by that last day, I'm like, you know what, man, I just, I don't want to leave, but I am ready to get home and kind of, get back in the swing of things. So we got back home. First thing I did is head over to the sweaty barn, play some guitar for a little bit.
How'd that feel?
Well, you know what sucks is that like in my head, it's so weird. In my head, I know how things feel and what I should do and like all that stuff, but my fingers don't cooperate. It's like I've lost some muscle memory there. I notice that a lot. If I don't play at least a little every day, I lose a bit of muscle memory. I forget those, like, instead of having like 4 licks, I like remember 3 of them. So, I don't like it. So now it's like I'm getting ready to go to Gearfest, and by the time this comes out, it'll be after Gearfest. But Gearfest at Sweetwater in Fort Wayne, Indiana, this week, and so I got to get my chops up because I'll be playing quite a bit, and I got to do like a little onstage, demo type thing, and I got some wood shedding to do tonight.
All right. Well, good luck with that.
And I also have to put together, we leave tomorrow, and I have to put together my board still.
Oh, all right.
Gotta love that. So yeah.
Good thing you got enough patch cables.
Yeah. Well, that's I do. I think I told you earlier. I thought I was buying 24 patch cables, just in case. Apparently, I bought 24 sets of patch cables.
Well,
I have an entire box full of patch cables. Next time, I will notice the amount whenever I click checkout.
Except that you won't be buying patch cables for a while, so you'll be okay.
I know. I'm pretty much set for the next 10 years for patch cables.
You'll be good to go. Good to go.
Hey, at least you need patch cables by chance?
Me? Actually, yeah, I do. So
I have a few extra. I can send your way.
I'm going to be wiring up a board. I'm going to be wiring up an actual permanent board here pretty soon. It's crazy for me to even say that.
I don't understand what you mean by permanent. That makes no sense.
Well, I shouldn't say permanent. That's not
tells me
true.
That you're done buying stuff, and I will have to hit end call if that happens.
Well, that's not true. That's not true. But I'm actually going to have like a real physical board. So I had this, I think I've talked about it before, but I had this junky kind of DIY one that I had. And that was my setup for quite a while. And then we went into the studio and I ripped everything off of it because when we were going in the studio, we're going to be doing a lot of mixing and matching in between songs. So there was no point in having a board set up for that particular purpose because we all brought in everything we had. And since then, I haven't had a board set up at all. Whenever we're going to practice, I'm like, I better throw a whole bunch of junk in a box and set it up when I get there because we're practicing kind of last minute and I didn't have time to wire a whole board up. So I'm going to have one. It'll be swapped constantly like yours is, but I'll have an actual board semi-ready to go at most times. So that'll be a new thing for me.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. So with that, what are we 15 minutes into this or whatever now? Yeah. We actually have a topic today.
Oh yeah, we should talk about that. What do you think?
We should talk about that.
Okay.
Because that's equally as interesting as my Florida adventures with sharks.
Right, and it's just as interesting as me trying to talk about my guitar while Brian cracks wise in the background.
Bad jokes. Crack very bad, uninteresting jokes. Yes.
Whiner.
I was married to one of those once, and I'm sure one of my ex-wives are like, I wonder if he's talking about me or the other women.
Oh, please. You think your ex-wives are listening to this right now?
Oh, yeah, man. All of them.
I can't even get my current wife to listen to this. So
my current wife says, that sounds like I'm in the process of changing. My current wife, no. My forever wife. How about
my forever wife? Yes, that sounds much better. Yeah, yes. Sorry, baby.
She's like, I listen to it all day long. Why in the world would I want to listen to this in the car with
you? Very, very, very valid point. Very valid point. Okay.
So, all right. So topic. With that, yes, go. Let's talk about our very interesting topic today.
Mm-hmm.
Go for it.
You want me to go for it? Okay. I don't know the man's name because you sent me the stuff.
His name was Marvelous. It was on Snapchat. So hey guys, if you're on Snapchat, actually do read and respond, and I can even answer your questions from there on the podcast. That.
And you won't have to listen to 15 minutes of nonsense beforehand.
There you go. Straight and to the point. Yep.
Yep. Okay, so let me pull up Mr. Marvelous's thing.
Macrevious. Macrevious. That's it. Macrevious. No idea why that's his name, but Mr. Revious, here you go.
I have been doing guitar repair for a little over 17 years. 6 of those more recent years were spent doing repair work for a big chain music store in my area. I managed to make a pretty good name for myself while I was there and started bringing a lot of business into the store. Unfortunately for me, I wasn't just making a name for myself, but even more making a name for the store for repairs. About a year ago, I left GC, I wonder who he's talking about, for a higher paying job, completely unrelated to guitars at all. Since then, however, I tried to continue doing repair work on my own. When I left, I did manage to bring a few loyal customers with me, but it's not the business I was hoping for. I started a business page on Facebook, but that really hasn't helped much at all. So I guess my question is, what is a good way for new people on the scene to market themselves and build a customer base? Is social media a good way to find a customer base? That's the question.
Well, I think he didn't mean GC like Guitar Center, because we love Guitar Center. So
oh no, I figured that was like
I think he meant GE like General Electric. I think that's what he meant.
Oh, that's probably what it said. Yeah.
Yeah. So, with that in mind, I'm trying to keep a straight face. Hey Mac, I kind of got bad news for you, dude. You kind of screwed the pooch a bit.
You screwed up.
You should have been doing some stuff from the very get-go.
Yeah.
And those basically includes building your personal brand.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, people are coming into this guitar store, this big chain guitar store, because it's well known. And they're coming in because you are totally kick-ass at making guitars sound great, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're selling yourself. You're like, hey, I'm Mac. You need to get your guitar fixed by Mac. Mac's the guy. Mac just happens to be at this building here under this guitar company's name. That's what you should have been doing all along, because now you kind of got to start all over.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part. Yeah.
Right. Like if you're trying to break into the business, and that's the world we're in now. Everybody's a personal brand. Everybody, like even the guys on my team, and Mac, I don't know if you or anyone out there, if you follow like anything we do on Facebook, you'll notice like the Jason Wildings, the Alex Clays, the Travis Feasters, everyone that's worked, Max, everyone that's worked for me. Like everyone is a personal brand. Everyone has a personality, and it was very important for me to allow them the freedom to be themselves and not just a faceless member of Wampler Pedals. You know what I mean? That's important to me, because we're real people behind the brand. So, you have Christian Brian, you have Atheist Jason, not that's like, that defines us. So I'm saying, like, we all have completely different views. It's not, if a company has a view on religion, and I'm going a little bit on a tangent here, like, you can't say Wampler Pedals feels X about religion, because Kathy, who's a huge part of Wampler Pedals, her husband's a pastor. I'm a Christian. Jason, who's a big part of Wampler Pedals, is an atheist. So, and not like the hateful kind of atheists, like, the ones that like to troll Christians. He's not that kind. He's just, he believes he believes in nothing. So whatever, that's fine. You do what you do, and I'll do what I do, and we'll live in harmony, right? So, I guess the tangent being there, that I want them to be able, if something should happen, like, let's say, of course, Travis and Max left. When and if they ever did leave, I wanted them to be able to leave in a better position. So I wanted them to, if Travis got another job in the music industry, I wanted him to be able to be known a little more. I wanted our company to push him a little further and allow his name to be out there a little more, and basically help him. And I think that's not what a lot of those companies do. I think a lot of those companies really want them to be faceless, and I don't think that's just the world we live in. And Mac, for sure, man. If I was you, I probably would like, if you're really wanting to hit it, I probably would find another place to work at, and then I would like totally double up on everything I could possibly do to get my name out there. So I would get the clientele coming in from a music store or whatever, even if it is this GE company or whatever you're talking about. Go back to work for GE. And get these clients coming back to you, but build your name. Like, hey, I'm Mac. Nice to meet you. I'm the guy that always works on your stuff, and I love it because of this. And you build your brand around it, and you talk to them and your friends. You're like, hey, here's my mobile number, by the way. Or, maybe you hit up my Snapchat, man. I love to talk about this stuff. Or my Facebook or my Instagram or my Kick or my Tinder or too far? Too far?
Yeah. Well, swipe left if you like. I don't know.
Swipe left if you like my work. Swipe right if you don't.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Tinder's a thing anymore. But anyways, it's funny to talk about.
I thought it went out of business, but I don't know. Whatever.
I have no idea. Happily married, haven't needed it for a while. So, but I mean, really, like that's probably what I would do. I mean, like I would get back on board on GE where people were coming in left and right, and I would build my name back up over 6 months, and then I would freaking haul out of there, and I would take my clients with me. That's what I would do.
Well, I have a different idea, and like I'm some big successful person.
Well, you're wrong, so shut up. I'm teasing.
No, I don't. I shouldn't say I think that's wrong, but I can see where he's going with this because he left General Electric because he found a better paying job doing something else. So now what his problem is he is trying to build up his side business of repair again. That's what I got out of the question. So he's currently employed.
That's definitely possible. It's just going to take much longer than, in my opinion, that's definitely possible to build up your personal brand. It's going to take much longer than 4 to 6 months if you go to where the customers are. So like, for example, if I was selling guitar pedals, I'd be like all over eBay and Amazon and whatever else to get my name out there and get in front of people in a hurry. And then I probably would pull back. Anyways, right. Continue on.
Right. So where I would go with it is I would start, and I mean, this is kind of what I did. It's kind of the whole reason that we're talking. But like, I would find a channel that you knew that you could get yourself in front of the right people. And being as we're talking about internet, because the internet is the big part of the world we live in, I think you can do that without necessarily having to go back to General Electric. I think you can do it where you are now. So I think what you need to start doing is when you are doing some of these jobs, maybe you need to get on Instagram, maybe you need to get on Snapchat, you need to find a channel that really jives with you and start just putting it out there like crazy. And the more you do that, and the more you really are active on that channel and finding people and bringing them towards what you're doing, it's naturally going to translate into your personal brand. And to Brian's point, it's going to take much longer, but it's something you can do without having to give everything up, your better paying job that you left for in the first place. So that's kind of where I look at it.
I've always looked at it as when you're starting a business, it either takes a lot of time or it takes a lot of money. One or the other. Can't have both. You know what I mean? So if you're starting it without a bunch of money going in, then you're going to spend plug your kids' ears, fellas. It's going to take a hell of a lot of time for you to actually build up things, right?
Oh yeah.
Or you can take a gigantic amount of money and throw it all into intense advertising over a short time period, and you can you can get up there really quick. You know what I mean? You really can. And I will point at Strymon as an example. Okay? Strymon was completely unknown several years ago. Actually, they were damage control, I believe. But anyways, that's a totally different story.
Yes.
But, you had a ton of money behind you, and you get in there in the public eye, you put out good products, and that happens fairly quickly. Or you grow it very slow, very organically, like us, and Earthquaker, and et cetera, I forget Jamie's exact date and all those guys, but I know we all basically started right around the same time. We all started building pedals and messing with stuff 2001 or 2 or somewhere near that area. That's 14 years ago, man. That's a lot of time. And I funded it off like a $300, like the first stuff was funded off a $300 credit card, $300 limit. So I mean, I had no money at all, none, no money to begin with, to really start things, and I didn't want to. Like, I didn't want to throw a bunch of money in. I was doing construction stuff, and I wanted to grow up organically. I didn't want to sell everything and start this guitar stuff because I've talked about it before. I didn't think like I was ever going to make pedals. I thought I was going to write DIY books. I thought that was going to be my work, and it just didn't work that way. But so I guess that's why I say, the time and money thing. You have a great job now. I mean, man, I struggle with. I did a video. We talked about this several times a few weeks ago, and I've had a lot of younger guys and even some older guys talk to me about it. Trying to phrase this the right way, man. Sorry.
Let the wheels turn.
There is no magic path. There is no right way. But I do firmly believe that life is much better whenever you're not doing something life is much better when you're doing something you're passionate about versus something that you make a little more money at. Because I firmly believe that if you keep going and you keep looking at every door that opens, you'll eventually find that right thing. Maybe you're not going to be driving a Lamborghini or whatever, but I don't think like happiness isn't having a Lamborghini in a driveway. I think happiness is waking up on Monday morning and excited to get to it and paying your bills at the same time,
Oh, I agree.
So, I actually had some parents that were fairly unhappy with my response about, like, if you're going to start a business, go start your freaking business. What are you waiting for? Are you waiting for some college professor to tell you everything you need to know? Stop. Go start, make mistakes, screw up, make more mistakes, screw up, and learn from them. And repeat that process.
Right.
Because those mistakes aren't going to be in college. Now, take some college with you, but if you're going to start a business, go do it. Stop working in a cubicle. You're wasting time, and you have a very limited amount of time, and you don't know when you're going to die. You are going to die at some point, unless Ray Kurzweil's right, and then you may live forever. But if the singularity happens, then forget everything I'm saying.
You're going to freak everybody out when you start talking about that on a guitar podcast. You crazy man.
I warned everybody I'm getting ready to go off on a tangent. I warned you.
Well, I'm going to reel you back in. A little bit.
So
because Matt, I have some opinions on this as well.
Yes.
And I think I think you'll know. And while I do agree 100% with if you're going to jump in, but I also have to say, just from my own experience, there's ways that you can jump in without, it depends on your situation. If you're some kid just in high school and you don't really have anything, that's a different story. But you then just head down and go do something.
If you got 3 kids and a wife, don't quit your job tomorrow. No, bad idea.
This guy on the internet told me to quit my job. I'm doing it. No,
honey, he said I can be whatever I want to be, and I believe it.
But what I'm getting at is I'm going to assume that most people are probably more likely in that scenario. Maybe they're not married, but maybe they're in a spot where they can't drop everything because they have responsibilities, and they have to do that adulting thing. But my takeaway is
okay. Go ahead.
Is you don't have to. It's just going to take longer. If you don't want to roll the dice and risk everything, and you probably shouldn't. There's a lot of people who shouldn't because they have kids they have to take care of. The kid has to eat, regardless of what your dreams are. So, but my point is, you don't necessarily have to. It's just going to take longer. And if you know that going in, and you just kind of do your thing every day and put yourself out there in the way that you need to, eventually it's going to work out for you. I think
it depends on the personality. So, I'm much, much more of a risk taker. I really am, go all in, whatever happens will happen. Really, I'm jump in the deep end and wonder how deep it is. You know what I mean? that's just kind of how I'm wired. Like that's exciting to me, and that gives me life. Like I'm not the guy that can play it safe. I'm not wired that way. So the idea, like to me, the idea of, well, I have some responsibilities. Like I would say, I think it, like I would have to draw a line. Like what are those responsibilities? Is that a car payment? Well, do you need the car? Like, is it, are you rolling in a Benz and like you want to feel like you're something, and so you want to keep that car, or, can you get rid of the Benz and buy a used car for a couple years? You know what I mean? Like, that's like, what are those responsibilities? You know what I mean?
Right.
And what's more important long term? Like, and where are you at in your life? Like, yeah, if you got kids, you got to feed the kids, man. And you know what? If you got kids, you may have to spend the next 5 to 10 years growing your personal brand, slowly, very slowly, because you're past that point. You're past that point of graduating without any responsibilities, where you can just totally jump in and dive in and live with 3 or 4 guys and make things happen, and just totally work on what you're passionate about.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what my point is if you are in that situation, then then don't give up. There's no reason you can't continue to pursue the things you want to pursue. You just make sure you take care of what you got to take care of. And especially these days, that's the thing, is you can develop your personal brand so much easier than you used to be able to. You can do it like literally anytime, as long as you have an internet connection and a smartphone.
Great. So, I mean, I even like this, dude. There's not that many guitar podcasts, and we've talked about this before with a lot of other people that have podcasts. We kind of all share the same subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
No one listens to just one podcast. They listen to a bunch of them. So there's room for Mac to jump in, start a podcast, and start building your personal brand there, and on Instagram, and on Facebook, and on Twitter, and on YouTube, and on Tinder.
I don't know if that works for personal branding. This guy's branded as a creep is what he's branded at. Yeah, exactly. And I don't know, some people I think it's always good to branch out and do multiple things, but I would suggest, and you tell me how you feel about this, I would suggest starting with one, and whatever one speaks to you. Like what makes sense? Like, are you a good talker?
Right.
Then podcasting might be for you. Are you a really excellent graphic designer? Maybe Instagram is your thing, or whatever. Good at photography. Pick
for
your
writing,
platform.
I mean, if you're a great writer, then you need to be writing blogs for everybody.
Yep.
If you approach us and say, I have a great idea for a blog, can I write a blog for you and just put my signature at the end that points to my website? My answer would be, yup, sure can.
Mm-hmm. And same here.
There you
same
go.
Exact thing.
Now you have several thousand people that will view that blog post every day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you're right. You're totally right. Find out like what you love. Like I love doing YouTube videos, even though it may not seem like I'm that great at it. It's just fun to me. I just like being stupid, especially now that I kind of started the vlog thing and I'm allowing myself to be totally stupid, like my normal me.
Mm-hmm.
I fired the old me and hired the new me. But yeah, I mean, like I love that stuff, and the guys that work for me, like they live on Facebook, and that's their thing. They like, and I jump on there too, but it's not. I'm not as passionate about communicating on Facebook as I am communicating on like Snapchat. I know it sounds weird, or really YouTube. Like I'm always answering comments on YouTube, even. I don't know. I just feel more at home there. I think for some reason, like the video based thing, I like a lot more.
It's kind of whatever it works for you. If Mac here was like come to me as a client and have this problem, like I would kind of line out a strategy for him in this way. It'd be the thing you're good at. You got a full-time job that you can't leave, but you want to develop this business. and you lost all your customer base. Well, you can't do anything about you lost your customer base. Can't do anything about you don't have enough revenue to quit your job yet, and you have to feed the kids. Okay, these are big assumptions. I'm just kind of painting Mac as an imaginary person right now.
Right.
My thing would be figure out what kind of media you are good at or like. Sometimes the thing that you're good at is the thing you consume the most. So if you do a lot of video watching, maybe you would have an eye for video. If you do a lot of podcast listening, maybe that's your thing. Whatever it is, figure that out. Start hammering on that as often as you can and building that out. And eventually it leads to opportunities you don't even realize exist.
You don't even know the doors that will open. Mm-hmm. Like you can't plan for that. And they just do. They just do, because if you're good at it, and like what Blake just said, I mean, if you love videos, you'll probably be pretty good at making videos. Mm-hmm. You know, you may not be the best editor, but you can learn how to edit better. You know, you can buy a better camera, even though you don't. You know, you probably have a phone that has a perfectly good camera. You know, mm-hmm. So I mean. Yeah, just focus on what you're good at and just hit it 110%. Like every spare moment. And like we've said before, stop watching Netflix and work on what you want to do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like for his thing, like if he knows everything there is to know about repairing Telecasters or making them sing, like here's this YouTube video on how to set up a Telecaster. Now, some people are going to look at that and go, well, there's already a million YouTube things about setting up Telecasters. Why should there be another? Because you haven't done it yet. People will be interested in it. It's kind of this classic thing that some people say is your vibe will attract your tribe type of thing. It's because people, there's people who love Wampler's videos and there's people who hate them. But there are some people who really like what he has to say. Therefore, it's valuable to them. Therefore, they'll probably buy a pedal. Same thing with guitar repair or building.
And you know what? I would much rather have, a lower number of very passionate people about what we do than a high number of people that, media, it's okay. I could take it or leave it. I mean, so for example, I'd much rather have 5,000 views. We talked about this before. I'd rather have 5,000 views on a video and 300 comments rather than 500,000 views on a video and 10 comments.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Because that just tells you that there was a bunch of people that watched that weren't interested.
Yeah, it's okay. Don't only care that much. So, yeah, there's room. There's room right now. I can't say there's going to be room in another 5 or 10 years. Oh, but right now, now we're in the gold rush. It's the internet gold rush where, if you're great at working on guitars or whatever, then get yourself out there, right? Do videos, do podcasts or whatever, and as you're give people your knowledge, because as you do that, you become an authority figure, and people look at you like you know what you're talking about. Even if you totally don't, that's still how it works. I mean, I saw a comment before we got on here. Someone asked me, where I got my degree in engineering. And I haven't responded yet. My answer is, dude, I barely graduated high school, let alone college. I don't have a degree in engineering. I just figured this stuff out as I went. I read books. The books that you read in college, I just bought those books and read them. I don't care about a grade, So, yeah. There you go, Mac.
The point, our answer is, you got to build up you had a decent following. You need to rebuild it somehow. The way to do it in your spare time is through these online channels, and you figure out which one to exploit. Didn't I already say that 20 minutes ago?
Yep, sirs.
Before we got into all this. Yeah,
yep,
that would be my suggestion for the guy who is saddled down. But wants to follow his passion.
All right.
Yeah.
And with that, we conclude today's episode of the Chasing Tone podcast. Mm-hmm. This podcast sponsored by Wampler Pedals and the Tone Mob podcast. Is that better ending?
Yeah.
I'm working on my ending, fellers. I'm working on it.
I was trying to insert something in there that, since this was only semi-guitar related, I was trying to say I like Big Muffs or something, so it was still qualified as a guitar podcast.
No, we talked about guitars. We talked about all kinds of stuff, man.
Yeah. It's good. I liked it.
All right. So if anyone has any questions, email podcast@Wampler-Pedals. We love hearing your questions. Or Blake, I forget your little hootenanny email address.
Info@tonemob.com. Info@tonemob.com.
Info@whatever.com.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who's that guy?
Yeah. All right, so next week, I hope we can get a next week in since I have GearFest in NAMM. But next week, make sure you stay tuned and we'll have some very interesting info. And it might even be more on topic next week. Maybe.
More on topics? I don't want to talk more on topics.
But I'm the best at more on topics. I'm the bestest.
Okay, I'll stop. I'm done interrupting your closer. I'll let you do it. Go ahead.
Okay, so I was told that my endings are bad, so I'm going to end it with an infomercial of sorts. Let me clear my throat here, fellas. This podcast sponsored by Wampler Pedals and the Tone Mob Podcast. How's that? Is that good?
Yeah, that'll work.
All right. So questions, comments, all that stuff. We love it. If make sure you're leaving reviews on iTunes. We really need it. Love it. Gotta have it. And we'll talk to everyone next week. See ya.
Bye.